All right, so we are reviewing algebraic notation or learning it for the first time possibly. And today we're talking about multiplication and division. And yesterday we talked about addition and subtraction and how to write that. Let me just hide these so they're not, there we go, there it is. Okay. Really quick before we move on, I forgot about PCs for math. So if our score, if it was out of 8, what was 70%? What was 70%? Owen? Yeah, pretty close, a little over 5. 5.6, because, yep, exactly. Yeah, because we're multiplying 7 tenths times 8. So we get 56 tenths, move that decimal place in there, and it's 5.6. So if you got 5 or fewer, that's a PC, friends. So you need to mark PC for that. Yes. Do you not have your notes with you? You put them in your binder. Okay, really fast. Okay. All right, so we're talking about multiplication and division today. And this is a little bit, you're going to have to learn some new ways of writing multiplication and division. So that's what we'll be working on. So in your notes, please turn to the page that looks like this slide. So it's after the one that we left off on yesterday. Landon? Okay. So you have about 30 seconds. Okay, so we've got a problem in front of us that says there are 4 apples in each packet. How many apples are in n packets? Well, okay, if we have 4 apples, let's just look at our slide right here. How many pictures of packets of apples do we have? Rajveer? Right, and there are 4 in each. So how many total apples did we have? Go ahead. We have 20 apples. Did you have to add all those apples up or did you multiply? You multiplied 4 times. Yes, you multiplied 4 times 5. So if we have 1 packet, we would have 4 apples. If we would have 2 packets, whoopsies, we would have how many apples?
8.
If we have n packets, how many do you think we have? How many? Well, but we don't know exactly how many we have, but we can write it a certain way. So how many do you think we have? If we have 4 times 2 is 8, how many apples do we have if we have n packets? Ashlyn Grandprix? Yes, very good. We have 4 times n apples. So here's how we're going to write them. It's on that slide below, but let's practice. We're going to write 4n apples. Do you guys notice what I'm missing there in that expression? Mira?
You're missing a multiplication.
Yep. Now we don't use it. So when we have just a coefficient, this number right here is called a coefficient. Everybody say coefficient.
Coefficient.
And this number right here, the letter, you should remember from yesterday what that's called. Does anybody remember? Go ahead, Evelyn. A variable. Great job. When we have multiplication and we have a coefficient and a variable, we just put them right together and that means multiply. So we don't use the times sign. We don't write it like this. And we don't write it like this. Who's seen the dot for times before? Okay, good. We're going to use that in 6th grade a whole bunch. Actually, that's all we're really going to do in 6th grade. Okay, let's go to the next slide here. All right, so this is our expression. 4n is the number of apples. So now let's actually solve a problem. If n were to equal 8, how many apples are there altogether? Here's how we would tell how many apples are. So on your notes there, you guys, you have, it says, write the problem, substitute, and then answer with a label. So where it says write the problem, you're going to write 4n. That's our expression. Okay, so that first line. And then we're going to substitute in the number that our problem tells us equals n. And what does n equal in this case?
8.
It equals 8. So now we want to write 4 times 8. Okay, and then we can go ahead and write the answer. And then what is the answer? Mira? 32 apples. We would answer with a label. This is called, anybody know? Probably not. Substitution.
Oh my God.
So you're going to write the word substitution on your notes. Okay. We might have more than 8 packets. You guys all have that word on there?
Yeah.
What if we have 11 packets? What if n equals 11? Is that going to give us a different answer?
Very good.
Let's do that now. If n equals 11, how many apples are there altogether? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write the problem. What's the next thing we need to do? What would our next line look like on that one? Lucy, Cole? Good. Now, in this case, what are we substituting for n? Lucy? No, 4 is our coefficient. Yeah, it's right here. We're going to substitute 11. Make sure you're writing this down. 11 in for n. Okay, so our next line of work looks like that. 4 times 11. And then we can write the answer next to the equal sign, or we can write it on the next line. So when n equals 11, how many apples do we have, guys? 44. Make sure. Okay, Carter?
Right, apples.
Nope, just with the answer. Later on in the year, I'll have you keep your labels though in your work because we'll be doing some I'm totally blanking. Rate and speed. It's going to be really important to keep our labels with that unit. Metric, we'll be doing conversions. What is that called when we do the, like you can cross canceling, but then we do it with the labels too. I'm trying to remember the name for that, but I'm blanking. Okay, doesn't matter. All right. Okay, so let's work on a problem. There are 3 boxes of chicken wings. Each box contains P chicken wings. Express the total number of chicken wings in terms of P. It's in your notes. What's the expression for the total chicken wings? Michael? 3 times P. Good. Now you've got a little, a few tips there underneath to keep in mind. So remember that when we're writing multiplication with a coefficient and variable, we're just going to put them together there, and the coefficient comes first. Which comes first? Yeah, so we're going to take half off for if using the, and these are in your notes, if we do 3 times P and use that times sign, that would be half off. Putting the, putting the variable first would be half off. So that's this example, but you'd get full credit for writing it correctly, like these 2 examples here. All right, so now what if each box contains 7 chicken wings? So let's go ahead and use that expression that we just found. All right, so let's go back. There are 3 boxes of chicken wings, right? 3 boxes of chicken wings, and ignore the 7 for a second. How many chicken wings were in each box? Cameron?
7.
Well, ignore the 7 for a second. Go back here. What was our expression? I know this is confusing because of the page break. Like, I wish these slides were on the same page, but they're not. Yeah, it was P. P was the number of chicken wings in each box, and we had 3 boxes of them, right? Okay, now our problem is saying each box contains 7 chicken wings. Declan, what was your question?
Are we ever gonna use 2 variables like?
Yes, you're gonna use 3. I know, that's a lot. Okay, so we have, this is our algebraic expression. What's my next step if I want to solve this problem? What's my next step? So remember, P equals number of chicken wings. And in this particular scenario, it's telling me that each box contains 7 chicken wings. How many boxes do I have again, folks? 3. Good. I have 3 boxes. So this is my expression, 3P. What's my next step to solve this? Okay, it's problem, and then look back at that previous problem if you're not sure. I want to see more hands coming up. Anybody find it? Oh, it's also right below. Sometimes we say write the problem, sometimes we just call it a formula. My 3 things that I tell kids to memorize: formula, substitute, solve. Formula can stand for an actual formula like area, or it can just be the problem. So I've got my formula or expression. Macy, what's next? Yeah, 3 times 7. My next step is to substitute. 3 times 7. Let's be writing all of this down. What's my final step? What do I need to do? Piper. Yep, what's my answer? 21 chicken wings, good. Okay, any questions on that? I was getting a lot of like this looking at me. McKinley? That's a great question. We know that it's multiplication because we don't write any of the other operations like that. So when we write a coefficient, which is this number right here, and it's right next to the variable, that means you have to multiply them. So it doesn't mean anything else. So that's part of what we're learning, you know, over these next couple days is algebraic notation. Like a certain way we write things means certain things. Does that answer your question? Okay. Lucy?
Why, like, we just made this happen?
Sure, that's a great question. So P is 7 because, so we had our algebraic expression already, right? The previous slide had told us that we had 3 boxes with P chicken wings in them. And then this problem right here says if each box contains 7 chicken wings. And so the answer to your question is this particular problem right now is telling us to substitute 7 for P. It could also say if each box contains 10 chicken wings, you know, then how many chicken wings are there? And then in that case, we would substitute 10 for P, and our answer would be 30. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's do another one. Okay, a rectangular tile measures K centimeters by 8 centimeters. Express its area in terms of K. All right, first of all, you guys are gonna have to think back and remember the formula for area. Anybody remember that? It's one you've practiced with quite a bit. Declan, what is it?
Length times width.
Length times width, good. So their formula, our first line, is going to be area equals length times width. We're going to go ahead and use the dot there today. The dot stands for multiplication. All right, my next line of work, remember, is to substitute. What's my length on this? What's my length on this? Mendel? Good, K centimeters, or it could really be either, couldn't it? Because multiplication can also be done in any order, can't it? Good, so I've got 1, maybe my length is K. Then what would my width be? What would my width be if my length is K? Cameron? 8, good. So I'm gonna substitute, and I'm gonna say area equals 8 times K. Now I'm gonna answer, can I solve this problem? I can't come up with a number, but I can come up with an expression. Mira, what do you suggest?
So you can't solve the problem right now, but once you get more information, you can.
Okay,
The way you get more information, it is quadrilateral. They have an area, like all the angles add up to 360 degrees. So then, you know, the 8 on the other side, also 8 centimeters.
Mhm.
You times that by 16, 360 minus 16, and once you get that answer, you divide by 2 and that's,
Where'd you get the 16 from?
8, oh, sorry, not,
Do you mean 64?
364, then get that answer, divide by 2 and that's.
Okay, I think we might be mixing up a couple different math rules that you know, because I'm hearing quadrilateral, I'm hearing quadratic. Did I hear quadratic? Oh, okay, you say quadrilateral. So you're thinking of angles, right? So the angles in a quadrilateral add up to 360, yes, but angles aren't necessarily the same thing as area. Okay, so remember, area is like how many 1 unit squares is going to fit in that, and we don't know what this is across because this is K, so we could draw it like that, but we know that we have 8 in this direction. So we need to multiply 8 times K. So really, that was like, you were really thinking a lot there, but there's a much easier way. So we can't solve this, we can't solve it with a number, but we can write an expression. So our third line would just simply be area equals 8K. And then our label, since we're talking about centimeters, is centimeters squared. Does everybody remember that for area, we use square units? Good, okay. Ashlyn, did you have a question or were you gonna tell me the answer? Oh, good job, okay. All right, let's keep going. We got a little bit to cover yet. So the next one is labeled a toyo. So let's go ahead and do this first part, and then you'll do the second part. So let's see here. Notebooks cost $3 each. How much do 6 notebooks cost? Show the formula and then solve. All right, so what am I going to multiply here? Piper? Okay, so we're going to multiply 3 times 6. What's the answer? Pretty easy, right, guys? Just say it.
18.
Good. Notebooks cost N dollars each. How much do 4 notebooks cost? Go ahead and write an answer for that. What does your expression look like? Ashlyn Grand Prix?
4.
Nice job. Let's add something to that. What's that? Notebooks and dollars, actually. Yeah, it's not actually foreign notebooks, it's foreign dollars. Good. Give yourselves 2 snaps if you got 4N. Okay, awesome. Let's move on to division. You guys ready? Is this a good pace? Give me a thermometer. A thermometer. Okay. All right. We'll circle back around. Jillian has 8 boxes. She puts an equal number of marbles in each box. Let's start off with a bar model. And divide it into 8. These are our boxes. She's got 96. We want to know how many are in each box. How would I figure that out, guys? What operation would I use? I think everybody in here could probably tell me. She's, I don't want to use the word. She's got 96 marbles and she needs to divide them up equally in 8 boxes. So what kind of operation is that, Dorothy? It's division. Good. Here's how we're going to write this. I'm going to show you a new way to write it, okay? So we would write this, right? 96 divided by 8. What does that equal, class? Okay. Guys, that's a math fact. Come on, friends. All right, here's another way to write that. 96 divided by 8. Did you guys know that the fraction bar means divided by? Good. And that's what we're going to use in algebra is the fraction bar to show division. Okay, so 96 divided by 8 still equals 12. All right. Let's answer with a label. 12 marbles. That's pretty easy, right? Let's extend that to a problem with a variable. All right, now the next one says that Jillian still has 8 boxes. So draw your bar model, please. How many total marbles does she have this time in that next slide? It says Jillian has 8 boxes. She puts an equal number of marbles in each box. B, if there are X boxes, find the number of marbles in each box in terms of X. Ooh. How many total marbles does Jillian have? I heard it. Who said it? Does she have 8? She has 8 boxes. Look in your word problem and find the word marbles. What's the number in front of it? Oops, now you can't see it. Kylie? She has X marbles. So remember just a second ago, we put X up there above the bar model? I mean, we put 96 above the bar model. Now we put X where we had 96 because her X marbles. What is she dividing X marbles by? It's the number of boxes. So McKinley, she's dividing X by what? Yes. So just a second ago, you guys remember we put 96 divided by 8? What are we going to write now? Macy? X divided by 8. Okay, so we're going to write it like that. X divided by 8. Read it from the top to bottom to make sure that you're setting it up correctly. So X divided by 8. X divided by 8, what? What's our unit? Piper? Good. This is our answer right here. Let's do another one. Okay, number 4. Megan bought 3 books. You guys ready to go on? Do you have this? Okay. Megan bought 3 books. If the total cost of the books is $12, find their average cost. Okay, let's start off with a bar model. This one gives us real numbers, so we can actually solve this, but their total cost is $12. She bought 3 of them. When it says find their average cost, it just means average cost. It means that all the costs are, the price of the books is all going to be the same. What do I do to find the price of one of those units there or one of those books? What kind of operation would I use? Jace, do you think you could tell me? Like just looking at my bar model? Exactly. Yeah, so what's the cost of 1 book? The cost of 3 books is $12. What's the cost of 1 book? $4. Good. And to get there, you did 12 divided by, good, 12 divided by 3. Okay. Next page. This is the same problem, except that now we don't know the total cost of the book in a dollar, in a number. So it's Megan still bought 3 books. Remember what we did just a moment ago. But this time the total cost of the books is $M. And we want to know what the average cost of one of the books is. How do we set that up? If you can't remember, just flip back to that last problem. We're going to set this up exactly the same way, but instead of $12, now the total cost is $M. Michael? M divided by 3. M divided by 3. Great job. And that's going to be our expression. Okay. Ashlyn. Yes. Is anybody still looking at this? Well, we all have it? Okay. In the other one, the 3 books cost $12 altogether. In the next one, the books cost $M altogether. All right. Grab that practice 193 worksheet from yesterday, my friends. And then here's this one again. And we're going to assign some more problems. And then if you had a PC yesterday, or I mean a PC today from yesterday's problems, you need to go ahead and PC those. Can somebody remind us what our PC procedure is? What do we do when we need to PC?